In the eye of a saint, I'm a savior. We're all trying to find our way. In the depths of every darkness, there's a morning. And oh, we all try. We all try. We're all one step from grace. Hello, and today we are doing predictions for matchday number 23 of the 2020-21 Premier League season. And that was the song of the weekend, Grace by Rag and Bone Man. What a tune. So let's get into these predictions. And we're also going to look back at last week's predictions. So let's start off with how we did last week. And basically, I scored myself 24 points. Not bad at all. Remember, it's 3 points for the correct result, 5 points for the correct result and the goal difference, and 8 points for the correct scoreline. So 24 points. Well, what's that done to the Predictions League? Now, last week we had Jack and Douglas commenting their predictions, and let's check out how they did. So, with a very impressive score of 29, it was Jack, which now puts him at a very respectable point tally, and 24 points was also the total for Douglas, with a very nice correct score in the game between Spurs and Chelsea, and also I think there was one in the game in the middle of the week. I forget which one that was now. Let me just check for you. It was in fact the matchup that was between I think it was actually. It was hang on. What's going on here? Yeah, it was between, was it Newcastle against Palace? No, it wasn't. It was I think it was the Man City game. Yeah. Man City 2-0, fair play Douglas. So 24 for you as well. So what's that done to the Predictions League? Well, in 4th place with still a total of 9 points, and Nathan Heaver, if you're listening, comment down below, because I know you want to include your predictions this week, improve your total, but you're on 9 points in 4th position. In 3rd, with 37 after his impressive 29 points, it is Jack. And in 2nd, who is top spot? Well, in 2nd, with 390 points, it's Douglas after his 24, and I'm on 441 in 1st position. So let's see if that changes drastically after game week 23. So what is the theme of the week going to be? Well, I'm feeling a little bit of The Simpsons. Oh yes, ay caramba. And don't forget, a little bit of excellent. So, these are the predictions for the match day number 23 of the Premier League. And the colour of the week is going to be purple. So, let's get into the first game. It is, of course, between the teams that go by the name of Aston Villa and Arsenal. Now, Arsenal come into this game off the back of a terrible result against Wolves. 2-1. And I should have gone with Wolves, to be honest, because they did have a bit of fight against the big teams. They've got points against Chelsea already this season, and they beat them 2-1 in the reverse fixture. And it happened all over again. Arsenal just weren't good. They were a bit reckless, lack of discipline in that game, with sending off for, first of all, Bird Leno, just silly. Like, why is he handballing it outside the box? But the second one, or the first one that happened in the game, is a lot more controversial. Now, it didn't get overturned. David Luiz's slight clip on the new signing Willian Jose for Wolves. Now, if this is a red card, then I don't know where the game's gone, to be honest, because he doesn't even intentionally do it. He doesn't pull out because he knows that he didn't mean it. And basically, I don't even know. Like, what happens is his knee connects with the back of his heel, so it's nothing that David Luiz does, and yet it doesn't get overturned. Whereas the Bednarek one, you'd say with Martial, is just as bad, if not the David Luiz one being even worse. So that got overturned fairly, because obviously that was a dive from Martial, and it was a very slight brush, but that should be overturned as well, in my opinion. But anyway, they will be without David Luiz, and they will be without the likes of Bird Leno, but also Matt Ryan is currently out. So it means Runnison is up against that Villa defence, and that could spell some really good stuff for the likes of Jack Grealish and Ross Barkley. Now, Villa have been an impressive team to watch this season. They've beaten some big teams like Arsenal in the reverse fixture, 3-0, and of course that Villa are, just fearless this season. Does mean that Wesley remains out and Courtney Hawes cannot go for this game, but they do have no fresh injury concerns. And it's going to be interesting. Can Watkins be the man to be scoring at least 2 goals in consecutive Premier League matches against the Gunners, as Didier Drogba did for Chelsea in the 2009-10 season? I don't think so. I think Arsenal definitely have improved since that last visit. And yes, they've been hurt by injuries, and their form is still a bit iffy. But they've kept a lot more clean sheets than recently, and people like Rob Holding and even Cedric, I've been quite impressed with. Going forward, they need to get more goals. Obviously, Aubameyang's been out of the team with a personal issue, but that's, I think, resolved, and he'll be back for this one. And also, Lacazette had a slight knock, but he's back. He was returning against their last opponents, Wolves, and he probably will start this one again. So, I don't know. It's hard to call with Arsenal, but I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I'm going to say Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 1. And the man that gets the goal for the Gunners, I think, will be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Alright, now let's go to a matchup that is between the team at home is going to be, who is it? It is Burnley, sorry. Brighton are away, Burnley are at home, and it's a big game, really, at the bottom of the table, because both sides will want to get a win here. It sees the team sitting in 17th against the team in 15th, and just 2 points separate them. Brighton, though, have been absolutely brilliant recently. I think Graham Potter's really worked his magic. So I think, they'll be absolutely loving life. Whereas Burnley, well, they'll probably think that they should be getting more wins, but they've not got the worst of teams. But they'll be gutted by that Chris Wood injury that they suffered against Chelsea, or in the build up to Chelsea. Sean Dyche will be saying, "Don't." But the point is, Burnley are still, battling for safety, and I think that their home games this season, they've been better. So I'm not going to say that Burnley beat Brighton, but they are going to get a point out of a very defensively stubborn Brighton team, which Burnley can be as well. So I think both goalkeepers have been impressive. I'm not going to go for a 0-0, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I just think that the goal will come for Brighton early on through Neil Maupay, and then Burnley will equalise through Lowton. And it stays that way. Okay, now we've got a matchup between Newcastle and Southampton. This one is on BT Sport, and it's a big game, especially for Southampton to bounce back from that very, very absolutely embarrassing game against Manchester United. Now, they've done it twice now in consecutive seasons, conceding 9 goals. First of all, at home to Leicester, and now away to United. And they just really are a team that do tend to bounce back from these problems, but their defensive injuries is an issue, and they haven't got as many goals, with Che Adams starting to go off the boil, Danny Ings the same. Whereas Newcastle, well, they've really struggled this season going forward and scoring goals, but the win against Everton, I think, will give them confidence. The defeat against Palace, they kind of back straight down to reality, but they are still a decent team, so it's a really tough one to call here. But I'm going to edge towards Southampton because Newcastle's home form has been pretty poor. I'm going to go for Newcastle 1, Southampton 3. And goals scored in this game, let's say first one for Newcastle will be scored by Matt Ritchie. And then Southampton hit back with goals of themselves through James Ward-Prowse. Then a goal from Danny Ings. I know I said he doesn't score, but I think he might do this time. And then the third goal for Southampton, let's say Nathan Redmond. Now we've got a game between Fulham and West Ham. a nice London derby to get our teeth stuck into, and it's a nice tea time kick-off at the Craven Cottage Stadium. So, what do I think about this game? Well, Fulham obviously come into this off the back of some decent performances. They should have beaten West Brom, let's be honest. They really should have. But in their last game of the Premier League game week against Leicester, they really were beaten by the better team. West Ham have been a great team to watch this season, so I think this is going to be another tough one for Fulham. I do think they'll score though, but I think it won't be enough to ultimately stop what is a good West Ham team this season. So we're going to say that West Ham win this one by 3-1, just like Southampton do. And the first goal for Fulham is scored by the man that goes by the name of... Who is it? It is the defender that is... Is it? Yeah, Ole Aina. That's the one. And then for West Ham, I think there'll be goals... I think 2 goals will be scored from Michail Antonio. And then the third for West Ham... Let's say Aaron Cresswell. He's a very attacking fullback. And now it's Manchester United against Everton. It's a tough one to call this because Everton, they can beat some big sides. They've beaten Arsenal this season. They've, got points against the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United in the reverse fixture. But Man United are just in such good form. They're scoring goals for fun. I think Everton will do well to, not get conceded a few here, but I do think Everton will battle as well, so they won't lose in absolute disgrace. So I think it's going to be Manchester United 3, Everton 2. I think it could be a very good game. So we thought it'd be a 5-goal thriller at Villa Park between them and West Ham. It was in fact a 4-goal thriller, but we're going with 5 again for this game at Old Trafford. So I think United will score the first goal. And that first goal, I reckon, will come from Luke Shaw. Did he play for Everton? No, it was Southampton he played for. Of course it was. But anyway, that's what I'm going to go with the goal. Then Everton equalise through James Rodriguez. And then they get a second goal, Everton, to really turn it around. And that is scored by Abdoulaye Doucouré. And then I think that it will be a goal for Manchester United from Bruno Fernandes. Absolute arrow into the bottom corner. To make it 2-2, and United grab their third, grab their winner, and it's a brilliant strike from the forward that goes by the name of Anthony Martial. He usually does score against Everton. And now let's go for Tottenham against West Brom. I think there's only one way we're going to predict this game. West Brom fans, turn away now, because Spurs, yes, they've struggled without Harry Kane, but West Brom, the leakiest defence, if not one of the leakiest in the league. I mean, probably are, because they lost to West Brom. They lost to Sheffield United, but then they also beat Sheffield in the reverse fixture of that game. So it's hard to call, basically, but they are really struggling for confidence. And this game that kicks off at 12 provides a big opportunity for Spurs, really. Off the back of that disappointing game against Chelsea, they never really got into it, and Son never really got into it either. But I'm going to go for Spurs 2, West Brom 0. And goals today from Spurs, or this game on Sunday, will come from, let's say... Oh, man. I really don't know. Let's say... Ben Davies? Yeah, Ben Davies, and then Tanguy Ndombele. And now we've got Wolves against Leicester City. Now, this is always a fun game to watch down the years. I say always. Last season it was 0-0, but, they're both very nice attacking teams. Wolves have struggled with the attacking, though, this season without Raul Jimenez. And they are starting to get improvements. And they're scoring goals that are good goals, especially that Neves one a few weeks ago, or at least the Moutinho one against Arsenal. But Leicester are just so good. They're a winning machine at the minute. So I think Wolves will huff and puff and try to blow the house down, but they're not going to. I think that Leicester will really get another good win. But it will be tight, as I said. So Wolves 1, Leicester City 2. And the goals coming from this game, I think, will be Harvey Barnes. And then Wolves will equalise through, let's say, Willy Bolly. And then Leicester get their second goal from the attacking fullback of James Justin. And now we've got Liverpool facing Manchester City, the game of the weekend. What an absolute spectacle this is going to be. I hope so, at least. We saw 0-0 in this game 2 seasons ago. We better not see it this time, because I want an absolute action-packed title bonanza. This is so big. I know it's in February, and I know there's a long way to go in the season, but it's so important because Liverpool come into this in a bit of a crisis. I know they say a crisis is too much of a exaggeration in terms of Liverpool and the club they are, but they haven't been their sharp selves, and Manchester City weren't their sharp selves last season. Liverpool were pretty much faultless, and I wouldn't say Man City was faultless this season, but they are really cranking up the pressure, getting clean sheets, getting wins, and that is going to be really a tough test for Liverpool. For Man City are kind of knocking on the door, as to speak. So I think Liverpool are going to lose this. I just think Man City are just in such good form. I can't see them, getting defeated. I can't see them getting a draw from this. So we're going to go for Liverpool to lose this, but it's going to be a comfortable Manchester City win. And we're going to say it's going to end Liverpool 1, Manchester City 3. And goal scorers in this one, I think Mo Salah will get the first goal for Liverpool, but then all their hopes get extinguished with goals coming from, first of all, Ilkay Gundogan, who scored a few goals against Liverpool in his time, mostly consolations in the past because Liverpool do have quite a good record against Man City at Anfield, but this time it will be different, and I think that Gundogan will get the first. Then the second goal for Manchester City, I think, will come from Ruben Diaz. He's such a threat at set pieces, and he will score a header sooner or later. And then the third, to clinch it for the Citizens, let's say it's going to come from, difficult one, but I'm going to go for, I don't know, let's say, Bernardo Silva. That's the one we're going to go for. All right, now we've got Sheffield United versus Chelsea. And again, a bit like the West Brom one, it's a bit one-sided here. But you never know, Sheffield United. They have the fight, they have the spirit, and they are at home. If this was at Chelsea, then I'd say, bit of a no-brainer. Obviously, at the reverse fixture, it was 4-1 to the Blues. So there's a bit of a golfing class between these two teams. Sheffield United want survival. Chelsea want top 4 at minimum because they've not really been in the title race, and Tuchel is starting to go back to basics, get their clean sheet sorted out, and they've been getting them recently, and that was a good win against Spurs, all things considered. So, I think that win will give them confidence. Will they absolutely batter Sheffield United? I don't think so, because I just don't think Chelsea are ruthless enough. There's a lot of players in that team with little confidence and not much experience, because it's such a new team. But I'm still going to say a Chelsea win. It's going to be comfortable stuff. So I do think that Chelsea are going to keep a clean sheet. But I could easily be wrong. I could easily see a Sheffield United goal at the last minute. But whether that will be a win, I don't think so. So we're going to go for Sheffield United 0, Chelsea 2. And the goals from Chelsea, I think, will come from Christian Pulisic. And then secondly, it will be a goal from the man that goes by the name, in defence, of Marcos Alonso. And now we've got the game between Leeds and Palace on Monday Night Football. Interesting one. It's got to be said. In the reverse fixture, a 4-1 win for Palace. Very, very optimistic. Palace fans will be going into this thinking they can do it again, but I don't think they can. Palace, they are a good team to watch sometimes, but that sometimes it's not that often, and they did get the win. It was a bit of an ugly one against Newcastle, but they'll take it. And Zaha were getting injured. I just feel that does hurt Palace's team, and I think they can't play in the same way. Maybe you could say the likes of Michy Batshuayi and Eberechi Eze will step up in Zaha's absence, and it could be very much that case. But I just feel like Leeds, they might be a bit risky with their play, but I think it sometimes is more likely to get you wins than get you defeats. And I think they will go that way for Leeds this time and in their favour. So I'm going to say Leeds get revenge for that battering earlier on in the season. And I don't think it'll be a battering win, But a win nonetheless for Marcelo Bielsa's team, which will be really, really good off the back of that defeat to Everton. So Leeds United will win this one by 1-0, and the goal comes from Patrick Bamford, who of course scored a brilliant goal against Palace in the reverse fixture, but it was ridiculously out chalked and taken out of the score sheet by VAR because he pointed where he wanted it. I mean, that's just good attacking play, like, honestly. But he did also score and to cancel that out as well with a nice volley. So I think he's going to be the danger man, and he's going to get Leeds the 3 points. So that wraps up my predictions for matchday number 23 of the Premier League. Comment yours down below to get involved in that predictions league, and I'll shout out the best scorers and the best points in my next predictions video. But thanks for watching this one. See you later. Bye bye.